Welcome to r/MaliciousCompliance, where we share stories of people conforming to the letter, but not the spirit of a request. And today we have 3 great stories, so subscribe, hit the like button, and let's begin. The first story. Sign at the gas station I used to work for showed a higher price than the actual price on the pumps. Guy didn't like that and thought I was stealing from him, so I charged him the price displayed on the sign instead. The second story. Boss wanted to save money on me, but I didn't let that happen. The third story. Administrators in charge of us made us do unnecessary tasks, but they didn't expect the commanding officer to find out about it. On to the first story. You want me to charge you the real price? You got it, Chief. Context, which plays quite an important role in this MC. Until February a few months ago, I used to work at this really old school gas station. What I mean by old school is that every task and chores in the station had to be done manually, and these 3 were essentially the most important ones. Put gasoline in people's cars. This had to be done by me because the only way to start the pumps was to activate them with a magnetic chip. Also, as I said, nothing was automatic. So if someone wanted to put, let's say, $40 worth of gas, I had to check the pump constantly as it filled the car to make sure it wouldn't go over the desired amount. For reference, modern gas stations where I live let you pick the amount you want on the pumps, then automatically stop when it's been reached. Unrelated MC, some people would insist on putting the quantity of gas they wanted themselves. And I always told them sure, whatever, but make sure to stop at the right amount. Otherwise, you'll have to pay for what you put in your car, even if it's more than what you wanted. Spoiler alert, they almost never stopped on time, and would always get upset at me for not stopping it before. My answer would always be, A, you can either pay and we're all happy because I told you to check what you were doing, or B, you leave without paying, but in exchange I call the police on you for gas theft. Let's say that 95% of the time they choose option A, changing the gas prices. As I said previously, the pumps were quite old, probably dating from the 80s, and that meant changing the digits for the price on the pumps one at a time. If the price was 131.9 and I needed to be at 129.7, I'd have to put it to 131.7 first, then 139.7, and finally 129.7. One pump at a time. I had to do this for 6 pumps. So overall, you could say that these pumps were quite crappy to work with. That was the first part of this task. The second one was changing it on the sign. To do so, I'd have to take this little machine, plug it in the sign, then repeat the same steps I did on the pumps. Note that this was all done outside, which can be quite the pain in the A when it's negative 40 degrees Celsius. Yay, Canadian weather. Calculating how much gas was sold between the price changes. As you probably guessed it by now, this was done manually too. To make this short, this was also super annoying to do, because I had to calculate the amount of liters per dollar sold with a calculator. But I also had to make sure the cash register balanced while serving a ton of customers. This was done at least 2 times a night, and sometimes it could be as much as 4. So we had to make sure the register balanced from the previous price changes every time, or we could not keep track of how much gas was sold. Now the story. It happened around 3 years ago on a really busy night, while I was in the middle of rush hour. My superior had called me to tell me to change the price from 1.309 to 1.259. Okay, cool. This isn't a problem. I always do this kind of stuff during rush hour, so in between customers I change the price on each pumps, but since the machine for the sign is still inside the station, I don't have the time to go just yet, and leave the sign at 1.309. Note that the pumps are now at 1.259, so customers are actually paying less than what the sign says. This is one of the few tips our manager gave us and encouraged us to do. If the price was going down, we would always change the pump's price first, then the sign, and if the price was going up, we'd do the opposite. This way, it'd look as if we were undercharging the customers, because the sign was always at higher price than the pumps. The reason we did this was to avoid rush hour becoming even worse than it already was. If the customers saw the price on the sign go down, they would rush to the station even more, and that'd leave me no time to balance the register, which had to be done right away anytime there was a price change. I know this may not be the best practice, but it helped us a lot because we always worked alone, although we shouldn't have been. My manager's boss was a cheapskate and wouldn't let him hire more employees. So now that the price has been changed, I keep on doing my thing and try to balance the register as fast as I can, so I can put the right price on the sign. Everything's going fine, and then at some point I get this one guy. I put the amount he asks for in his car. It was something like $40, and give him his receipt, and that's when he starts complaining and yelling at me. He says that the price on the receipt, 1.259, so actual price doesn't match the sign. So I proceed to explain to him that I changed the price on the pumps first, that if he looks at them, he'll see that the price on the receipt matches them. All should be good now, right? Nope. Now he tells me that I'm trying to steal from him, and that I changed the price on the pumps after I gave him the receipt. I tell him that this is not possible as I'm in the middle of a rush, and that the pump's price have to be changed manually one by one. He doesn't want to hear it and keeps yelling that I'm overcharging him for gas. Cue the MC. So I tell him, "Alright sir, you think I'm trying to steal from you? Then come inside and have a look at the security cameras. I'm telling you there's literally no way I'd have the time to change the price." He still doesn't want to. Now he wants to leave without paying because I'm not charging him the right price, and yells even more than before. Okay, cool, I'll charge you the right amount then. So I go get my calculator and start calculating. The real price being 1.259. I check how many liters that is by doing 40 divided by 1.259, which amounts to around 31.77 liters. I'm right next to the pump with him and I tell him, look, even the numbers on the pump match, and hope that he'll see I'm not stealing from him. Like modern pumps, you can see the amount of cash you're paying and the amount of gas that's going in your car while you fill it. Nope, still doesn't want to hear it. Alright then, here it goes. 31.77 liters times 1.309. Sir, you owe me $41.58, not $40. That's when he gets really mad and gets in his car ready to leave. So I gently tell him, sir, you're gonna have to pay or I'll call the police. The look on his face just changed from angry to defeated in half a second. Dude ended paying $41.58, told me he'd make a complaint to my manager and that he'd never come back to the gas station because we were thieves. Joke's on him, I knew my manager would side with me and dismiss the complaint. By the way, I worked there for 5 years, and this was the first and only time a client ever complained about the price being lower than shown on the sign. Most of them would just avoid telling them, so I wouldn't change them the price displayed on the sign. The next story is, follow the old rule? If you say so, boss. As part of my job, I have to travel a few times a year, roughly 5 to 6 times a year, for periods ranging from 3 days to 2 weeks. When that's the case, everything, plane ticket, hotel, and food, is covered by my job under the following rule. I need to pay for everything out of pocket first, keep the receipts, then submit them to the admin and billing department who approves the expenses and gives me back the amount in my following paycheck. However, about 6 months ago, everyone received an email from the higher-ups stating a change in rules. From now on, every food-related expense didn't need to be justified anymore. We would instead receive a fixed amount of money per meal, which totaled to around $80 to $90 per day. Very generous, I would say, and would be allowed to pocket whatever isn't used. The goal was to lighten the pressure on the billing department because they were spending too much of their time checking every single receipt for every travel, and time is money, so by doing this they were planning on reducing costs. As soon as I read that, I was ecstatic because I knew I was always spending much less than the allowed amount per day, so that would mean that I was going to get free extra money. However, my excitement was short-lived. Not even an hour after that first email, another email came from my direct supervisor that stated that we will continue to follow the old rules. Please disregard the previous email. After talking to some of my colleagues, we realized that our supervisor thought the amount we were allowed under the new rule was too high, and he was trying to save money off us by making us stick to the old rule. So you want to save money and disregard the higher-ups rules? Okay, let's play. The first trip I went to after that email, I did the following. 8 a.m., light breakfast at the hotel, but then coffee at the shop across the street. 10 a.m., I'm feeling a bit peckish. Let's get a banana from the supermarket and a small pastry from the bakery next door. And let's not forget a bottle of water from this kiosk nearby. 12 p.m., lunch at the restaurant, but I took the dessert in a tea room close by, and my noon coffee at the Star of Bucks. 4 p.m., time for a little snack. Let's get a chocolate bar at the grocery store and a boba tea in that little store there. 7 p.m., time for a pre-dinner drink at the local pub. 8 p.m., dinner at a restaurant. 9 p.m., let's not forget the water bottle for the night. I did this for the whole week I was traveling, making sure that for each day I spent as close as possible to the amount I was allowed to spend. So when I came back, instead of submitting around 20 receipts, 3 a day, I submitted around 150. And submitting the receipts was quite a long process as they were asking for a lot of information for each single one, such as the amount in local currency, conversion rate for my credit card, corresponding amount in my currency, address of the establishment, short description of the purchase, etc. And I did this on company time, of course, which took over 3 hours to complete. Once I finished submitting all of these, I received a panicked email from the billing department asking me why I submitted so many receipts and didn't follow the new rule. I forwarded them the email from my supervisor, saying that I was only following what I was told. One of my friends in admin told me that the billing department actually went through all my receipts, which took them a huge amount of time. My supervisor got a stern talking to from the higher-ups, and from then on we were allowed to disregard all the food receipts. The last story is, if you don't have something to do, ask us and we'll find something. Don't just pretend to clean. Okay, we're done, what can we do? I don't know, just find something. Military story. At one point in the military, I was in between major postings. Finished the training program but was waiting for reassignment to a regular station, and was working a cleaning gig in the admin building as a holding station in the meantime. I was in a technical field that was eternally undermanned, so we had decent for the military money incentives to sign on and re-enlist, and often were exempted from a lot of the duties other service members had to deal with because of our required schedule. The admin department was made up of personnel who were not. Naturally, this engendered some resentment from them. So we'd show up at 7 a.m., clean the building for 2 to 3 hours, literally run out of things to clean because there were around 5 times as many people cleaning it as needed, and then have to clean for another 5 to 6 hours plus lunch, until the end of the normal workday. The admin guys in charge of us every morning ordered, if you don't have something to do, ask us and we will find something. Don't just pretend to clean. So we did. We cleaned until there wasn't anything left to clean, and then asked admin guy what else we could do. And invariably we were told something along the lines of, I don't know, find something. And so the commanding officer, CO, if the president of the US is the military CEO, the CO would be a regional or district manager, eventually noticed that we didn't really have anything productive to do after 10 a.m. Because of that, in public, he ordered the admin guys, if the techie guys don't have anything left to do for the day, then send them home. There's no point in keeping them here unnecessarily. And the next day we showed up, cleaned for 3 hours, and then asked what else needed doing. I don't know, count the holes in the ceiling tiles. Literally, that was what admin guy said. So we did. We knew it was BS, but it was an order. Naturally, being on ordered activity, we didn't try to hide what we were doing, including around 11 a.m. when the CO walked past one of us staring at the ceiling with a pencil and a sheet of paper, obviously counting something. CO asked what we were doing. Oh, Petty Officer so-and-so ordered us to count holes in the ceiling tiles when we asked what else we could help with, sir. My coworker answered earnestly. CO asks, how long does it usually take you guys to clean the building? Coworker answers with enthusiastic forthrightness. Oh, we usually have to start asking for things to do around 10 a.m., sir. CO not happy. CO very not happy. Not only did that mean that he was dealing with insubordination of at least one admin guy, but the nature of admin guy's orders started into hazing territory, which was regulated to hell. COs had been canned in recent years for hazing incidents, and it was being done almost literally in his face. The next day we cleaned up until we ran out of things for most of us to clean. We ask admin guy what else we can help with. Admin guy answers, I don't know, find something to do. So we do. CO leaves his office at 12 heading to lunch. He walks past my coworker, same one he talked to the day before, wiping a wall with a rag. Coworker greets CO. Good morning, sir. CO stops, sees coworker. Sees coworker apparently only looking like he's cleaning. CO very, very not happy. We go to lunch, get back, and get told to go home. It was no longer an issue after that. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button and have a nice day.